In the reading pack, I have tried to sketch out the origins of peacekeeping, how it has evolved over time, and what the main challenges are today. I've been focusing mostly on UN peacekeeping, but in the latter part, we're also looking more at regional organizations and how they have been involved in peacekeeping over the later years. Peacekeeping is a quite interesting subject because it was never part of the charter itself, very much used, particularly in the post-Cold War period. According to many, quite effective when it has been deployed in post-conflict situations. The core and traditional principles of peacekeeping were and are impartiality, the consent of the main parties to the conflict, and to use minimum levels of force, except in self-defense or in defense of the mandate. UN peacekeeping is a voluntary system where member states provide troops according to the needs that the UN has identified for its missions. And the top contributors today are countries like Bangladesh, Ethiopia, India, Pakistan, Rwanda, Nepal, Senegal, and actually China is among the top 10, which is interesting. So that's the only veto power among the top 10. On the other side, among those who are financing peace operations, the US is the biggest contributor with the 28.4%. Quite high up is also Japan, UK, France, Germany, and China again. There has also been a steady increase of the number of peacekeeping operations, and today we have more than 120,000 military, police, and civilian peacekeepers in the field. During the same period, the mandate that peacekeeping missions have received from Security Council has steadily increased, from earlier on just being an interpositional force to today strengthen state authority, extend state authority, supporting elections, strengthen the security sector, forming the army and stop the use of child soldiers, training police, training the judiciary, and conducting disarmament, demobilization and reintegration of former fighters. As you hear, this is a very long list, a laundry list of tasks that have been given to peacekeeping missions. The resources that missions have been given have not been commensurate with the number of tasks. So again and again we see that peacekeeping missions have had real challenges to implement these tasks. Also have unfortunately several or many times not been able to protect civilians, which is the core of their mandate. This may seem a bit appeasing. There are significant openings, you could say, for the use of force in the latter part of those principles, that is in defense of the mandate. We could almost say catastrophic failure of UN peacekeeping in the conflicts of Somalia, Rwanda, and Bosnia. It was recognized that UN peacekeepers can't just stand idly by and see atrocities be committed, and that they have to stop perpetrators, parties, whether they are rebel groups or state parties, when they are attacking civilians. So there was a significant reorienting of peace operations, peacekeeping during the 90s. And we saw this first with new mission in Sierra Leone in 1999, which was given a robust mandate to protect civilians. Today, 98% of the troops in UN peacekeeping have protection of civilian mandates. Over the last 15 years, many missions have been equipped with the protection of civilians mandate, but unfortunately, there have been a number of situations where peacekeepers have not been able to protect civilians. Adding to this, in recent years, peacekeeping operations have been given more robust or peace enforcement tasks. So the mission in DR Congo, MONUSCO, was given a mandate to neutralize and disarm several identified rebel groups which were identified in the Security Council mandate, and thus became a party to the conflict, violating the principles that I listed earlier. So all these trends, challenges, led to the Secretary General nominating a high-level independent panel on peace operations, often shortened with the acronym HIPPO, that should look at the challenges facing peace operations and give recommendations to how peacekeeping and peace operations more widely should be reformed. President Obama chaired Leaders Summit on peacekeeping during the General Assembly this autumn. So at the Leaders Summit, 49 states made pledges, and 3 international organizations making pledges for a lot of much needed capabilities for UN peacekeeping. So there is some promise now that we can strengthen the performance of UN peacekeeping. So first of all, the world is much more interconnected today. It has given us new possibilities, but it also presents new challenges. When I used to work on the border to Darfur and Chad, even in the furthest regions, I would find people who had a cell phone, and they are following everything that happens. And there are very good reasons for people to be angry with their leaders in many countries. You have a demographic bulge of youth in sub-Saharan Africa, where it is expected that in the region of 440 million people will access the job market in the next 15 years. So we need to see burden sharing between the UN and regional organizations when it comes to the more robust end of the spectrum. A discussion that I think will just increase in the years to come.